What up, what up? If you have arrived here, my name is Rich. You're well off the beaten path. I'm a nobody. I'm in my messy corner here. I have a mess here that I don't pay attention to. I like this for my background. It shows that life is messy, and you know what? I don't need a perfect image around me. So, I've been sitting here listing cards. It is way early in the morning, super dark right now, out in the middle of nowhere here, and I I've been listing these cards. So I've been listing specifically at the moment Murder's Karlov Manor commander decks. Not the actual sealed decks, but the cards. And I've been looking at the prices of some of these cards, and that's what sparked this video here. You know, it's interesting. I just got through what was the red, green, and white commander deck. A lot of the cards in there. I made a video on luring eclipsed commander decks, and I had explained just kind of how I learned about commander decks back in Commander Baldur's Gate with the Exit from Exile deck. And this one that I was listing here has a lot of the similar cards. There's like 3 visits in there. Nature's Lore. Why there's such a price difference between the 2 cards, I have no idea. I'm too stupid to know that. I guess reprinting or whatever. And there's Jessica's Will in there. It's not all the same cards, but I'm getting a deja vu, right? And I'm realizing that it's not just that commander decks have really good cards, they repeat in very favorable cards from Magic into those decks over and over again. And it's interesting to see some of these prices. I mean, have you seen the price of Jessica's Will? Anyways, that's not what this video is about. I want to do a little bit of a history type thing. This is very short history from not very long ago. Okay? This is where my mind changed about Magic, because 2022 and 2023 were they were just very abysmal times. There are a lot of stores that I heard that went under. I'm not like a WPN brick and mortar store myself, and so I'm too stupid to know things, but I'm just going to share my opinion and just like what I was seeing during this time. Okay? We're not going to go into it too much. It was an abysmal time. What I want to focus on is the beginning of 2024. Okay? So we'll start off with, when did Karlov Manor come out? Was it January, February, or sometime around there? And in February, they came out with this article out on the internet about distributors. And I think this should be okay that I'm talking about this because it's public information that was out there at the time. During 2022 and 2023, relationships were destroyed at distributor level. And like I said, I'm not some brick and mortar store. I'm too stupid. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a CFO. I'm not some special person. So feel free to not give a shit about what I'm saying. Okay? This is just opinion of what I'm seeing, and it's really not that, I don't know. I'm not that smart. I read this article, and they were saying that with the distributor level, they were so upset that Wizards had to pivot. They had to come up with a different strategy for their relationships, right? the market's running. Yeah, they're pissed off about things like Magic 30th, all these sets that are being overprinted, the Amazon dumps. Everybody's pissed off. The players, though, I believe, will always be there as long as the game's great through the waves of ups and downs. But when you start messing with relationships of who's distributing your product, you start having like a really big problem. And so they created this strategy. It was like a what they it was called in the article like a print to demand kind of strategy. Now, print to demand has been around since, was it 2015? Maybe earlier than that. So it's been around for a while. People understand the term. If you're new here, print to demand means you look at the demand, you print to the demand, right? But this was not a player level thing. It was print to demand depending on distributors and what they were selling. Because during 2022 and 2023, I bet warehouses were probably filled. People were upset. They had way too much product. And so Wizards wanted to create this strategy to help the distributors. And I'm sitting here and I'm reading this article after like 2 years of just abysmal times. Almost 2 years. It happened a little bit into 2022. I mean, the beginning of 2022 was really bullish. Kamigawa Neon Dynasty, have you seen the booster boxes? But in the early 2024, they came up with this strategy, and I read this article, and I thought to myself, I was like, okay, so when you have this print to demand strategy, you can actually create this thing called like artificial scarcity, especially like when it's not based off of the players, it's based off of the relationships at a higher level. And I actually reached out to a couple people on, messages that none of the public will see. So you just have to take my word for it. And I said, this is a line in the sand. From this moment on, the bull run is going to be so intense. And that was the one fact that helped me understand. Now, there was a bunch of different things that happened in the moment. Am I right about everything? No. But I noticed that one piece and I was like, okay, we're on a very bullish uptrend. And I myself started really jumping into things. There was another event that happened, and I really hope that like anybody watching this video witnessed this too. But just hear me out on this. This was so insane, and it was such a small event, and it was so insane. It caused me to understand that the bull run was starting. The bear market was over. Because they say once you hit the lowest point, that's when people are just like, well, I might as well go in now because it's just so low, right? Like when you look at, these old Magic cards, yeah, they took a huge hit after Magic 30th, but, if those things go to zero, there's going to be a point where people go in and they buy them, right? And so there was this one auction that showed up. It was at the beginning of January. This was the moment where I realized things were turning. And it was right after, I believe it was like right before New Year's Day. It was like after Christmas. People are hurting. They bought all these presents and wasted all their money. And someone put up a sale. Please, if someone saw this, I would love to hear it in the comments. There was a beta Mox Sapphire that went up for bid in the early, like January, late December. There was a few cards that went up, but this is the one that really hit home on eBay. And this thing, like no one was bidding on it. Me myself, I was like, I didn't feel like putting down thousands of dollars. but I'm still going to watch it, right? Even though I can't buy it, it's good intel to understand what's happening with the market. And no one was bidding on it. I mean, I think there was a couple bids. And the thing ended, and it sold for $3,000. Now, if you're new to this space, you're probably going to hear that and say, whoa, that's crazy. You know, all these crazy Pokemon prices are like, yeah, that's a $10,000 card. Pre say 10, baby. You know, it's just these numbers are so astronomical. But if you've been in the space for a long time, you understand that what I just said is so ridiculous because the price sold for so low. $3,000 for a beta Mox Sapphire is ridiculously low. Yeah, it was heavy play. It wasn't damaged from what I saw. But when that thing sold for $3,000, I said to myself, that is the most ridiculous sale I have seen in this entire bearish time. And I was like, I think things are going to start turning. Like, you can't get worse than that. And then this article came out about Murder's Karlov Manor and how pissed people were at the higher levels and how things were drastically being changed to accommodate the higher relationships. And I'm like, we're running. We are running. Here I am listing Murders at Karlov Manor Commander cards. And I am floored because I work with singles. I am floored by how high some of these prices are. Look at Jessica's Will. I was just listing Neheb, the fiery dude. What? Like, I remember buying this card a year and a half ago for like 50 cents, 25 cents. It's like a $6 card now. Beast Whisperer, 3 visits. I mean, the cards are at what I know as all-time highs. I mean, maybe not all time, but you know, my small career. So it got me thinking. I made a few videos this last year on how there's just so many people coming into this space. There are so many like newer names that I'm seeing on the packages that I'm sending out. And yes, I made like a Flesh and Blood Bull Run video. We should probably do like a Pokemon one too. Magic is doing great too. And we're seeing this widespread, just like fiery bull run going. If you're skeptical about that and you think things are crashing, you're probably in the wrong light and you're probably going to be wrong. Now, could things crash tomorrow? Yes. Or today? Yes. But at the moment, this bull run has spread across the board. I mean, look at One Piece. You know, you look at the games and they're just doing so well. Everything is. And it's so surreal to understand that like 2 years ago, things were so abysmal that like stores were getting shut down and you couldn't sell cards worth of shit. These are times that help us or make us feel like heroes. these are the times that make us feel like we're all knowing beings and that we're just like the best thing out there. And you have to understand the different ebbs and flows. I forgot what this kind of market looks like. When I first started selling cards, it was in 2020, 2021. It was like 2021, we'll just say. Um, and the bull run in that year was astronomical. And the bull run, like in this year alone in the first couple months, is astronomical. For people who sell sealed product or singles, and it's going to make you feel like you're the hero, like you're the one doing it right. This bull run has so many new names, kind of like 2021. And I'm looking at this and I'm like I I personally believe this is what creates bull runs. If you had the same people that have been doing it for a long time in the space and the names never changed, you probably have a slower growth because everybody's on the same page and they're doing the same thing. But when you influx those numbers with a ton of new people who are just buying up to play cards, speculation, sealed products, whatever, the numbers get so much bigger. But the caveat to that is that you have a lot of new people, right? So, yes, things are going up, but you have a lot of people in the space who have no fucking clue what's going on. I'm willing to bet there are people out there buying cards and boxes that don't even know how to tap a card in Magic. Like, I mean, I sell Flesh and Blood. I don't know how to play the game, right? I sell Pokemon. I don't have very much, but I sell Pokemon. I don't, last time I played the game was literally like 1997. So when you get into these kind of spaces, like we are so bullish now. Yes, this bull run can continue. It can continue. But I'm going to throw it out there that as you get more and more bullish, things get a little bit rocky, right? Like some of these prices of cards, it's great. This is a great return for me, but I'm becoming a little bit more cautious. Now, I'm not saying everything's going to crash and that I'm done with this and I'm not buying anymore, right? I'm still buying. I'm still part of it. I'm still buying and part of it when it's in a bear market. I am one person that absolutely loves this space. I will be here in the ups. I will be here in the downs. But during this time, I become a little bit more cautious. The buying becomes a little bit less for me. And the reason for that is because when things get so bullish and so greedy, you get closer to the moment where people are going to flood out. Something could happen. Some kind of crack in the system actually breaks and the dam floods the town. I'm a little bit more cautious because of the bullishness. I mean, some of these prices are just like, how did we get here so quickly with these single cards? Now, of course, this is a lot of new people. There's different IPs happening in Magic. There's a lot of people flooding in. There, it's a more natural bullish indicator. It's not a lot of people just speculating on cards. You have a lot of just new players coming into the game, which that right there is, it's more solid of a foundation. But still, and I mean, this bull run could go until the end of 2026. It could go through 2027. But at the moment here, I'm slightly more cautious and I'm just watching. I'm still doing the same amount of work. I'm watching though. It's so surreal how far we've come from 2 years ago. It's so surreal. And you can hear it in other YouTubers' voices of just how excited and happy and all knowing everybody is. In the bare